I've already thought this through. I thought it through, and I was just like, I know the order I'm drafting and who I'm drafting based on you jerks.
I don't know how, but I'm gonna get you.
But I'm gonna get you.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting segment. Everybody, the hate in Andy took 14 episodes. Well, he's hated through many episodes, but for the draft, it took 14 episodes.
Let it ride.
Here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rudimentary Podcast, the podcast where we take the basic things and try to make them difficult to understand. Hopefully, through these past 14 episodes, we've done just that. This is milestone episode. This is 15. Comes after 14. On this episode, it's me, your host, Travis, with the same two co-hosts, the guys that bring it week in and week out. We've got a little bit of a variation here. It's the same guys, but one of us is in a different location. I'll tell you, it's not me. I'm just happy to be here. We're going to take it over to Funkle. Funkle, are you in the normal place?
In the sauna, baby. The sauna. Nice and hot in here.
Look at that wood. Man, that wood behind you. You pour a little water on during the episode.
Hot like a lunch.
You get that breathing in there. Yeah, with that. Oh, the cedar is something else, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's high quality craftsmanship in that sauna.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
So that leaves one. And then there was one. Andy, how are you doing? And you're not broadcasting from the same spot.
No. I mean, I think this time, we are all over the country. We've got
it looks like you're coming from the bush.
I am. There it is. Right there. However, I am not in St. Louis. I am in a location near the Smoky Mountains. So,
and that's
all I can give. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
don't need the paparazzi outside. I don't need any of that. A partially undisclosed location.
Just enjoy it, knowing that he's here with us. Like I said, this is episode 15. This is kind of cool. We've been having a lot of fun doing it, and it's fun to see you guys out there watching it. We're getting a few comments, usually by one joker who will be unnamed for this episode.
Thank you.
You suck, Chet.
That's one of the running gags on the show is he who shall not be named. I think it's actually Funkle's favorite part of the show is when we do a whole episode without naming said individual.
It is the best.
He's nice.
Yeah. I shake hands afterwards and I'm just like, we did it, guys. It was first and free. Sucker free.
We were in pre-show talking about a few things, and we'll get into the topics. This one is going to be a sports heavy because there's been a lot going on in the last week. Some major news coming out, major stat lines, major playoff implications, and just some good old-fashioned football. We were talking pre-show about the Colorado Buffaloes.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yes. Coach Prime, 2-1, beating an unranked Baylor team who was also 2-1. They had a last-second Hail Mary for a touchdown to send it into overtime, and then they won it in overtime. Travis Hunter is a beast. Shedeur Sanders had another huge game. Heisman watch, everybody. Heisman watch.
Yeah, why don't they beat somebody first?
They beat 2 people, right? 2
Well,
teams?
A real team.
Oh,
Real
sorry.
team.
North
Okay.
Dakota State. That's a Division II national champion contender year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
FCS, baby. FCS.
What's the F stand for?
Frankie.
Because those dudes are effing terrible.
All right. I'll give you that. Then fine. Colorado State, the juggernaut that is Colorado State.
He's not having it. He's not buying it.
He's not sold on this. He's not
No.
sold. And then tonight, Baylor. But it's just fun to start off by poking the bear in the Smoky Mountains. There we go.
Speaking of that, I know it's Smokey's cousin. Is he close to those mountains?
I hope not. but if he is, just call me Bert.
Bert, a guy named Bert.
As you can see, these
Lana, temptress of the woods.
And Smokey's cousin.
Sorry, Chad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I love having the fun here. But I know Funkel is just rip roaring, ready to go. It's almost as if the roles were reversed as we get into this first topic, because normally it's Andy who's texting the group chat about the latest and greatest Caitlin Clark news. But
True.
man,
Fever. He's feeling that fever.
he is. But no, it's not time to talk. It's time to talk about the year in review. It's not even over yet. Major League Baseball 2024. What a show. The 50-52 club has been established, and there's only one man allowed behind that velvet rope.
Yeah.
Funkel, you've been sending out update after update after update. I'm just going to let you run with this, man. What can you tell us has happened in the last week since we last recorded with Mr. Ohtani?
Well, since the last week, there was questions whether or not he was going to make it to 50-50 and be the first and only person to ever do that in the Major League Baseball. But as you can see by the banner, he has made that, and in the same game, he had the best offensive Major League Baseball game of all time, and he was able to not only get into the club but exceed it. He put a VIP room in the only club that has ever been established, the 50-50 club. And he's like, oh, if you're just eking by in the last game, you don't make it in here because I got 52-52 now. So it's pretty impressive. He went 6 for 6 in this, again, best offensive game ever. And he did it with the pressure of a week left in the season. He put the Dodgers in the playoffs. We knew that they were going into, but it clinched a playoff berth. He's never been in the playoffs. This is his first year with the Dodgers. He was with the Angels, so he did that. He had 3 home runs, so he got way past. He became the most prolific home run hitter in Dodger history for a season. He surpassed Sean Green, who had 49. So now 1 year on the team, he already has the title for the home run king for the Dodgers. And then on top of that, he stole some more bases. And he had 2 stolen bases. He had 5 extra base hits. I mean, I can keep going on about this game because it was so impressive. There's no other person that has collectively had 6 hits in one game, 10 RBIs in one game, 5 extra base hits. By the way, 5 extra base hits is the most ever in a major league game. 5. And there's been 14 people that have done it, and he's now one of them. He did it on this game. And when you put all that together, that would be, he's still the only person to do that for an entire career, let alone doing it all in one game. It was mind-blowing. One game. Nobody's ever been able to do all that in a career, let alone a game. So it was the most mind-blowing and the welcome to stratosphere superstar Shohei Ohtani game I've ever seen. So impressive.
It was. I remember getting the text from you, 5 for 5, and you were putting the stat lines, and then you were pumped. It was awesome. People were talking about it, and then a little while later, oh, 6 for 6.
Sorry, he had a 3-run homer in the ninth.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, 6 for 6. And
Jeez.
Andy, your thoughts on obviously you were in that group chat. Your thoughts on Shohei's game that was just unparalleled.
Yeah, no, I think he was stat padding myself. I mean, a 3-run jack in the ninth. I mean, what's he still doing in there, right? Pull that guy.
Yeah,
Obvious
there it
stat padding.
is.
No, I think
And it did
the the most amazing thing about all this. I mean, obviously that game is just
Bonkers.
completely insane. That
Yeah.
that stat line is just as long as baseball's been around. Whenever you hear of a record falling, and not like like never been done before type of thing,
Hmm.
with the amount of time that baseball has been around, that's a big deal.
Right.
I mean, you're talking over 100 years,
Yeah.
and that those people that were there, we were talking about this before at that Marlins game,
Hmm.
had no idea that they were going to be a part of they were going to witness history.
Right.
You
Right.
just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know when something can happen like that, especially in baseball, right? Again, I think we've talked about baseball records kind of being the most hallowed records in all of sports. It
Right.
just, for whatever reason, it is.
Hmm.
And the crazy thing is, you recite all the stats and you look at things and you're like, oh, Dodgers going to the playoffs. This guy's got to be a shoe in for the MVP. And then you look at Aaron Judge's numbers. And aside from the steals, his numbers are better. It's crazy. So, I mean, with the year Shohei's having, I mean, National League MVP, American League MVP, but
Right.
still, I mean, if he was still with the Angels, it would be one of those things to where it was like, my God, if
Yeah.
they, it is crazy
Yeah. Yeah.
that these numbers that they're putting up, and he's batting near 300, which
Right.
sometimes these guys that hit 50 some jacks don't get near 300, especially these days. I think we were talking Kyle Schwarber a couple of episodes back. He's not near 50, I don't think,
Hmm.
but I mean, the guy bats 230 something or something like that. And when you've got two monsters like Judge and Otani, I think Judge is he's got to be 320 or something like that, and then you've got Otani near it, right around 300. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Yeah.
an offensive juggernaut. These guys.
And this has been great for baseball. Baseball keeps getting uh, not or going through a lot of changes, as our attention span lessens, as there's so many things. Football's fast paced, basketball fast paced, uh, soccer fast
Not
paced.
fast-paced. No. No. There's not. There's nothing fast about soccer game.
Yeah, uh, quit trying to make soccer happen. It's never going to happen. Not in the
Not,
U.S. I
not in
mean, come
America,
on.
Jack.
But Andy, you mentioned it. Baseball records, I think we can all agree. Baseball records, are the most hallowed, are the most quoted, things like that. And to establish a record, and Funkel, you brought it up, nobody's done all those numbers in their career, has had those numbers, and he decided to do it in one game, kind of a show
Right.
off.
Yeah.
But you look at it, and I was excited the fact as you were listening to all those that it clinched the Dodgers. Like you said, they were going to end up in the playoffs. It was just a matter of when. But for him to do that, to clinch on top of all those stats, and to know that he's going to be playing in his first playoff series,
Right.
and of course after that you started seeing, the tweets and things like that from one of the original scouting reports that said Major League Baseball scouts are worried that he won't be able to hit Major League pitching. Some of them said he's basically what was it? A glorified high school hitter is what one scout said. Um,
Dang.
and that always happens.
Yeah.
When these guys are doing well and things like that, you start seeing these hits that they were taking early on, and
Mhm.
whether it was press, whether it was in reports, whether it was in draft stock, things like that. So you love these guys coming out and just, you know, obliterating those thoughts or those views. And you sent out that TikTok of Rob Lowe talking about meeting Shohei, and
Right.
just the guy, the respect he has for the game, as Rob Lowe was talking about. If
Yeah.
you want, Funkel, go ahead. That TikTok you sent out.
Yeah. Well, it was Rob Lowe talking about the first time meeting him, and it was in the locker room for the Dodgers, and so he comes in, and he's just like in regular clothes or whatnot, and he knows that he's prepping to go out for the game, and he offered to take a picture with Rob Lowe, and Rob Lowe was wanting something like that, but he told him to wait a minute, let me just give me a minute or two. And so he goes and he gets full uniform dressed to be able to take this picture with Rob, with the hat, the stirrups, the socks, everything, just to take this picture with this guy that I'm not sure if he knew him or not, but to do something like that instead of just snapping one off and smiling for the camera, enough respect to go and put the uniform on to be able to do that and have it memorable for that person was just something I've never heard from like a celebrity doing something like that.
And at the end, what I loved was Rob Lowe was talking about, watching the game, and he's with a rep from the Dodgers, and his phone goes off. Not Rob Lowe, the rep from the Dodgers. And Otani had texted that
Oh,
guy
that's right.
and said,
Who
"Can
was
you?"
that guy?
I don't know. Was it Leaf Garrett?
He asked the guy. He said, "Can you ask Rob if it's okay if I post the picture?" Like,
Yeah.
come on. I mean,
Next level of respect
yeah,
of asking permission to do something like that.
I mean, that's got to be though. I mean, that's got to be his culture, right? I don't
yeah.
know if you'll find a more respectful people than the Japanese people.
Totally.
You heard stuff about the World Cup
Yeah.
during that with the fans staying after the match and cleaning the stands.
Picking the trash up and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
nowhere you would never see that in America. I mean, you
Well,
just
I
go to
sometimes
the
do it in the theater because there's some
yeah.
real
What a
pigs, but
guy.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, you can get up here. You leave a theater. I always pick up my stuff as I'm
same.
leaving out. But you can see this stuff. People just leave,
Like,
and
who
it's
are
just the
these people?
entitlement. You know what? Those are
Right.
the people that don't put their shopping carts away. To hell
Oh,
with them.
They absolutely are. You're right.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
well, let me ask you, gentlemen, this: when fans of the show come up to you guys and ask
Mm.
for pictures,
Yeah.
what's your thought on that?
I
Well, I
always
already
say,
have my cap ready to go. What about you when you're
oh
putting your grocery cart away?
yeah. Well, when I'm putting my grocery cart away and somebody comes up to me and say, I'm the host of that show, and I don't have time for you.
It's true, folks. It's just the kind of guy he is. So
And
Well,
Trev
no,
was like,
because they think that we look alike, and so since you're the host,
you do it. Yes,
yeah,
I
yep.
hate. I hate.
yeah,
It's kind of like the Mirror Mirror episode of Star Trek where Spock has the evil Spock with the goatee.
yeah.
Dude, yes.
Yeah, it's
It's
kind of
funny you
like
should
that.
mention that. There was an auction that was going on today. Uh, I didn't get anything in the auction. I missed out on a couple Disney memorabilia, but they had the original molding of Spot's ears.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yes, and it went for I think 8,000. So
Oh, that's a bargain. That's a
Yeah.
exactly.
bargain.
But yeah, you mentioned that and just kind of came to mind. But that auction was awesome. My bank account appreciates me not getting any memorabilia from
Yeah,
that.
the old heart starts to race when it gets down near the end, doesn't it?
Yep. I actually have the bid. Oh no, it's gonna go through.
Yep. Oh my God, I
Yeah.
want this, but I don't.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
No,
Somebody
I've
come
been
save
there.
me. Save me.
I've been there. That going back real quick to what you were saying about people coming up to people, famous people and doing stuff like that. Do you guys ever hear the Don Rickles story, Frank Sinatra?
Oh yeah. I love that one. About at the restaurant?
So good. It was on
Go
the
ahead.
Tonight Show, and Frank Sinatra's on there. Don Rickles comes out and does this bit, and if you don't know who Don Rickles is, he's the master of insults. A
Absolutely.
comedian, master of insults for those younger viewers. He's a voice of Mr. Potato Head in the Toy Story movies. Well, He does his thing, and then Sinatra says, before I go, I want to tell you one story about what this man did to me. Now, Frank Sinatra, to set the stage for those of you, you've all heard the
Chairman of the
name,
board.
I'm sure. Yeah, this guy was as big as it got. Was rumored to have these mob ties, and just this larger than life figure. So for the entertainment industry respected this guy. I mean, that's just, he was a big deal. Without Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin and stuff, Las Vegas might not be what it is today.
Yeah.
And so he uh, he's at a restaurant, and Don Rickles comes in with a date, and he goes up to Frank, kind of off to the side, says, "Hey Frank, would you mind coming over and saying hi? I told
Yeah.
my date that I know you, and I don't think she believes me. She's really pretty, and I just want to kind of impress her." And so he says, "Sure, I'll come over after the meal." So he says, done with the meal, I go over there and I stop at the table and I say, "Hey Don, how you doing?" And he says, Rickles says to Frank, he says, "Hey Frank, can't you see I'm eating here? What are you doing?" So classic,
The best.
classic. Oh, so YouTube that the Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, Don
Oh,
Rickles,
it's
Frank
so good.
Sinatra. Oh my God, what a great story.
Uh, yeah, he was the king.
Yep.
You know what's a great story? Shohei Ohtani, that's a great story. And as pumped as
Uh,
Funkel was to
oh, here
reminisce
we go.
and talk about the great season that Shohei Ohtani is having,
Guess
I
my
wouldn't be
segment's
doing
up,
my
huh?
job as a host if I didn't, help out
What's next?
my other co-host talk about. Oh my, that's right. He's psychic, folks. The
How about that?
WNBA playoffs
That
are
sounds fun.
set. The clash for the crown is set.
Yeah, look at this guy.
There's there's excitement, as you can tell. Now, before we let this man just go, because he's raring, I need to be the first on this show to eat crow. And
Oh,
Andy called it probably about 26 games into the season. He called the Chicago Sky would not make the playoffs.
right. Yep.
And I'm going to mention him, but I'm not going to blame him. But I am going to mention him. I'm not going to
Yeah.
mention the injuries to Angel Reese, season ending injury. I'm not going to mention that. Um, I just won't do it. But there were things that may have happened that caused the Chicago Sky to just fall from the playoffs. Anyways,
Poor
that's it.
Sky.
I was wrong. Andy was right. The first guarantee, the first lock, it
Yeah.
maintained a lock. So,
All
Andy,
right.
enough of me talking. Take it away.
Yeah. Yeah, number 6 seed in the playoffs. Indiana Fever, baby. I think the voting happened yesterday for end of season awards. I don't think they're announced yet. If anybody, if Caitlin Clark isn't the unanimous choice for Rookie of the Year, then something's wrong. Same thing with Asia Wilson. That should be a unanimous MVP. Yeah, so a big year for the league. I mean, anytime you have somebody like this that is expected, to do great things, the amount of pressure is something I think none of us can understand. The type of pressure that a LeBron James faces coming into the league when
Mhm.
I mean, as much as I'd take Jordan 100, I'd take 40-year-old Jordan probably in front of LeBron. But it goes to show, I mean, that when somebody can live up or exceed the expectations when they were unreal to begin with is crazy. And I don't I don't think we've seen anything short of exceeding expectations when it comes to Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Um, nobody thought that she'd put up what she did, break the record she did, and the attendance and bring the viewers. If you would have told me 2 years ago that I'd be going to WNBA games, I'd have been like, nope,
I know.
not happening.
I know.
I've had 20 I've had 25 years that I could have went and never went to one. I think I went to 6 this year. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a good time for me. It's a good time for anybody who enjoys watching Caitlin Clark play. I don't think that Chicago Once Angel went down, I mean, they're the best thing they could do is they weren't going to do anything in the playoffs anyway. They just sat people at the end mysteriously. Kennedy Carter, Camila Cardoso, all were injured that last game that could have possibly been a playoff contender. There's no point. I think they need an overhaul. Um, they definitely need some shooting guards, some help. As good as Kennedy Carter is, um, she's kind of unstable and just kind of a hothead that needs calm down. And I think they need some veteran leadership there. And I'm not sure that Teresa Weatherspoon's the right coach to get that done over there. So we'll see. But anyway, big. I don't think anybody expected the Fever to make the playoffs this year. So for them to do that, it's a good time. Um, so yeah, looking forward to it. While we're recording this, that game is game one out of the 3-game series versus Connecticut is about 14 hours away. So looking forward to that. We'll see what happens by the time this comes out. They might be out of the playoffs. We'll see.
Now, Funkle, I'd be remiss if I didn't. Review
Can't wait for his 2 cents.
I let Andy, go after you when we were talking about Shohei Otani and the season he's had so far, and I want to give you the same respect of letting you go now that Andy went ahead and talked about the WNBA season and the playoffs coming up. So please go ahead.
Yeah, please attack women athletes.
I got nothing to attack that. Yeah, I mean, you said it all.
You said it all.
You really did.
You said it all.
So I don't really have to say anything. It's really hard for me not to make some kind of joke with that picture in the background there. So I'm not gonna bring up that stadium or anything. But you're right. I mean, you weren't a fan last year, and that I think that just shows the power of Caitlin Clark. I mean, you weren't watching anything last year. She comes in, she breaks the NCAA point record, and then she gets drafted. Luckily for you in Indiana, and so it's a natural fit. I got no issues with them. The only issue that I have is it's still boring to me, and that's just my personal taste. But I never got into NBA too much anyway. Jordan was the phenomenon that had me watching NBA, and I haven't watched a full game of the NBA for years. So,
Nope, I'm with you.
um, so yeah, I mean, it's great that you're excited. I'm glad that they're doing well. It's just not a product for me. I'm also a vegan, so I mean, when it comes to,
So there.
I got a weird taste, man.
Oh,
So that's why I'm saying that I'm vegan. You guys are meat eaters, and all
and
these
so
other
is
things.
probably Caitlin Clark.
Probably. I
Okay,
mean, she probably hunts for all I know.
yeah,
I
maybe.
I have no idea, but that's why I'm just saying that I have an odd taste about me. So
Oh, okay. I was wondering how you going to wedge the vegan rationale in here. I was like, when you started it, I saw
yeah,
Travis's face, and it was like,
I definitely both saw you guys like, where is he going
where is
with
it? Yeah.
this? Just saying that I'm weird, man. I don't, I don't jive with a lot of mainstream conventions. So
Hey,
what?
I got a question for you,
Sure,
completely unrelated, since I like doing this.
Good.
great.
I had a teacher in high school that was she was vegetarian, but like
Okay.
hardcore.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, and she swore that people who ate meat had a different smell about them.
Oh, I've never had that. I've never
Okay.
had
Yeah,
that
she
sense
swore
about
that.
me.
I didn't know if that was okay. Just wondering. Anyway, what's next?
Well, live stream possibilities. Funkle, when we're all together, will you smell Andy?
No, no, I'm not doing that. I've fallen for that one too many times. That guy leaves booty traps all over the place. No way. Yeah, booty,
Booty traps.
booty traps. It's the
That's what
worst.
I said.
Yep. Where you go, you take care of business, you close that door, you don't leave the fan on, and then you just wait for the next sucker to go in there, and that's a booty trap. I don't like it.
Yep,
Um,
sorry.
I don't like that smell of your beef.
Gross. Uh,
You asked for it. You said something about smelling.
Uncle had a good point. That wasn't it. Booty traps wasn't the good point. Um, if Caitlin Clark was drafted by another team, but was coming, obviously playing against Indiana, do you
Oh, man.
think how much of a role do you think the hometown team plays in the fandom that you have now?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, everything. I
That's
mean,
what I was
as Funkel was saying, I think it's fair to say, as much as I love the Bulls, I was a Jordan fan,
right.
right? And
Yep.
and I love the Jordan Bulls.
Mhm.
And after that, after Jordan was gone, I didn't have anything. It's so tough going back a couple episodes to these heroes that you have that just you always believe are going to pull it off somewhere or another. There's some kid wearing an Otani jersey at that Marlins game the other
Oh,
night and
yeah.
just had his mind completely blown.
Oh my
Yep.
God,
And
yeah.
and I mean, that kid would take a bullet for Otani now
Yeah.
if he wouldn't before because this guy is on a stage larger than anything and um,
Yeah, everybody's
that's
watching. We're talking
yeah,
about him on a podcast. We're like, is he gonna make 50-50? And
yeah,
then he goes to Miami and he does that. Yeah,
and he
that
has
kid
to show
had
off.
that jersey.
Yeah,
He fan for life.
yeah,
It's not a show off.
absolutely.
Not a
Yep,
show off.
and that kid will have the posters. He will have the jerseys. He will, and it's just every
I was
time that
at
kid
that
will be
game. He'll say, I was at that game.
A lifetime.
crazy.
That is a lifetime memory that he will tell his kids, his grandkids, anybody that'll listen.
Yeah, and it's when I go down there to the Fever games. What was your original question? I got off there.
You're
Yeah, the
with
Local.
her being
yeah, yeah.
Indiana, drafted by Indiana. How much of a
I would
role?
I would have been it's hugely lucky, but I would have watched the games for her anyway, wherever she went.
Okay, that's
Honestly, I mean, it would be harder to get down there and watch a game,
sure.
but I'd watch it on TV. So I think it's fair to say I'm a I'm a Caitlin Clark fan,
Right.
and by a de facto Fever fan because of it. Um, but yeah, it's so crazy that it just worked out that way that I'm an hour and 45 minutes and it's easy for me to get down there and watch a game. And yeah, I'm glad of it. It's I've been looking for that next kind of sports uh, phenomenon to see. And one of the things that I do when I go down there, take my camera out and I am recording every play until she hits her first three, and then I can watch the rest of the game. So I've
Hey,
got every
good.
game I've been to. I've got the first three she hits in that game, um, and then I can sit back and watch it. I don't know why I started doing it, but I just thought, oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So,
Caitlin, when you listen to this episode,
mm,
just know that that's something else. That's something
yeah,
else devoted fans are doing.
yep.
We
Hit
hope
that first three so I can go ahead and put my camera down and enjoy the rest of the game. Get that done early, please. Thank
knock
you.
that out. Andy, you had the first lock. Another remaining lock is Timothy Chalamet. Best actor nomination, I believe, was a lock in our group chat from
Yep.
Funko
That was
over
me.
there. So
Mhm.
when the nominations are announced, we'll take a look at that one.
That'll be January.
Andy, do you want to risk your perfect lock streak of one by predicting the NBA first round of playoff? That's 4 series, man. Let's see what kind of fan you are. So I'm
Wait a
gonna
minute. Wait a minute. Go
Like
ahead.
the NBA?
WNBA.
WNBA.
Yep.
Okay.
We've got
What?
we'll do the easy one.
Okay.
First seed New York versus 8th seed Atlanta.
Yeah, that's Liberty.
All right. Second seed Minnesota, 7th
It's the Lynx.
Phoenix.
I don't care who they're playing. It's the Lynx.
Now we get into the tough ones.
Mm.
These teams?
Yes. Third
Oh,
seed Connecticut versus 6th seed Indiana.
I
oh,
gotta go with the Fever. I gotta go
he's
with the
feeling
Fever.
it. He's
Upset.
feeling it.
And then 4th seed Las Vegas versus 5th seed
Oh,
Seattle.
yeah. It's Agent Wilson. Although I think that series is going to be good.
Mm,
I really do. Seattle is really tough. I think, unfortunately, the two teams that Indiana really don't match up well against are Seattle and Las Vegas. I think I think they match up well against the Liberty, but Connecticut gives them some trouble too. But yeah, so you get them. There were Las Vegas, Minnesota, Indiana, and New York.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see.
Okay.
Would you be willing to put your lock on those 4 picks?
no, no.
And that says it all. All right.
Lock it up.
Oh,
Lock it up,
This
baby.
guy,
Lock
he's
it up.
crazy. He's
Woo!
crazy.
Caitlin,
Lock him up because he is crazy. He's going to Arkham.
you're crazy, man. You're
You're dangerous, Maverick.
you, you got a freaking dart in your neck.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
oh
Oh, I was gonna say, did you hear that WNBA is expanding? Is that true?
Yeah,
They're going to
Portland.
Portland?
They're headed
yes.
headed to Portland.
Portland Beavers, right?
Well, I'm not sure if that's it.
No.
Could
Okay.
be.
I thought that's what
Could
they
be.
were.
I haven't heard. Very
Oh,
well could be.
okay.
Research department, we'll get on that.
Okay.
It might
You
be a
can't dispute
surprise.
it, so it could be.
It could be. I have nothing to the contrary saying it's not that.
Yeah. All right.
So we're going to move right along. As I mentioned, this is a heavy sports episode, and we're going to kind of throw it to these two gentlemen to talk about the surprise NFL team so far, and that could be for good or for bad.
Yeah.
There's been some big stories coming out of the NFL already through week 2. Some of those stories are the lackluster play of the rookie quarterbacks, not just Caleb Williams, but led by Caleb Williams, number 1 overall pick, the generational talent, the who a few college and draft experts, I believe. I'll look it up, but one of the regulars on ESPN had said, coming out of college, most ready for the NFL in the last 20 years was Caleb Williams, ahead of guys like Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow. Obviously,
Oh.
it's only 2 games, but those 2 games have been pretty much abysmal. Again, not necessarily his fault, but that offensive line is horrid. So they've got some things to fix. So that's one big one. Another one is the Chiefs, 2-0. They're being the Chiefs. That's a big storyline. Not really, but just the fact that they're continuing to be good. They've won in some different ways. Cincinnati is Cincinnati giving that game away on a 4th and 16 pass interference call that allowed the Chiefs to get into field goal range. So you've got things like that. You've got storylines playing out in Pittsburgh where Russell Wilson had a calf injury in training camp, could not play the first 2 weeks, and Justin Fields took the reins and is 2-0 as the Steelers quarterback. That Justin Fields that came from Chicago, and their quarterback's not doing well. Anyways, surprise topics, surprise teams that you guys have seen, that you guys have taken a look at, read about, or just watched the games themselves. Funkel, who do you have out there that surprised you?
I think so far it's been the Dolphins. Um, they haven't had the best play. They've had injury with Tua after a large contract. And a lot of people are just pretty much penciling them in the playoffs, but I'm glad they wrote it with pencil because I don't know if that's happening now, especially with them having a backup and who's to say what the future of Tua is. And even when he's perfectly normal, he's more susceptible to a concussion and long term damage. So it's one of those things where it's not going to be just okay. Everything feels normal and go out there and practice in because that is a risk unto itself. So I think that's the biggest surprise for me is just how the tables turn so quickly. I mean, we're 2 weeks in to see something like that, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah, and that was scary to see him down yet again on the
Right.
field. Uh, and it's funny you mentioned the Dolphins because that's been some of the rumors we talked about. Uh, Russell Wilson being injured, and Justin Fields being 2-0. So there's been a lot of talk of Russell Wilson maybe being traded to Miami, as
Hmm.
Tua was placed on IR, and they need a quarterback because they're paying Tyreek Hill a lot of money. As you mentioned, they're paying Tua a lot of money. So you see that. There's also been some, what if a Mr. Tom Brady wants to come out of retirement? He could play for Miami. He would have all
People
kinds
said
of
that.
weapons.
They've been rumoring that.
Yep. But nothing, obviously
Oh,
nothing solid, but it's just been when
he's
people
doing
are,
okay in that booth.
yeah, 10 years, 312 million, I think,
Yeah.
372 million. He's fine. But Andy, I want to throw it over to you as a lifelong Bears fan.
Mm.
Surprise teams, whether it's the Bears or somebody else that's out there.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button on the Bears. I mean, they're 1-1, even with that substandard quarterback play. But if anybody's watched a game, you got to have time to throw the ball. And right now, he has zero time to throw the ball. They need to make adjustments to where they're running short hook routes, or just something to get his confidence up. 5-yard routes, you know, drop a couple of those in there. That'll open up some other things. The 5-yard route gets him, some confidence and lets him get the ball out of there quick. And that's what he needs right now. He just needs to go ahead and know that he doesn't have somebody coming to just crush him from the blind side, or that he has to run for his life. So I think he'll be fine. So yeah, 1-1. I think the bigger stories are when you look down and you see the Bengals at 0-2 and the Ravens at 0-2.
Yes.
That's before the season. I don't think there's anybody that would have said that both those teams would be winless going into week 3. So those that's the for me, those are the surprises.
And I think for me, my heart, of course, says Seattle. They're 2-0, 2-0, and they have an injury riddled Miami Dolphins game to play this week. So they could be 3-0 heading into week 4, which I
You've
would.
already penciled that win in. I can
Yeah.
tell.
He
Yeah, he
definitely
has. Yeah, he
has.
has.
Yep.
Yep. At
DraftKings,
the
no, he's locked in.
Yep.
Lock it up, baby.
There it is.
But my surprise teams are from the same division. It's the NFC South. You've got the Buccaneers at 2-0, flying under the radar. And then even more of a
Saints.
surprise, Baker didn't have a bad year at all last year. Mike Evans became the first receiver with his first, I think, 11 seasons to have 1,000 yards in 11 straight seasons to start a career. First ever NFL player to do that.
Wow.
But the Saints. The Saints are 2-0, and the fact that they just obliterated, just demolished what was supposed to be the strength of the Dallas Cowboys that was going to lead you to the playoffs. Yes, we paid Dak $60 million. We just need him to not make mistakes, and the defense will carry us the rest of the way. The Saints scored 6 touchdowns on their first 6 possessions in that game.
They're like Otani, 6 for 6.
Hey,
How about that?
to put it in perspective, the Saints have scored 91 points and have only given up 29 through 2 weeks. That's probably the biggest surprise to me is that, because that game, I thought I had messed up, and like I wasn't refreshing because it was 14-3, and I'm like, oh, they're struggling. And by the time I refreshed again, it was, I think, 28-6, and it was just ugly. And you look at those two teams, just like no one would have thought both of the Bengals and the Ravens would have been 0-2. I don't think anybody had both the Buccaneers and the Saints being 2-0.
Speaking of that, where are your Buccaneers?
Yeah. Where are they?
I don't even know this reference. I don't even know this.
You never heard that joke?
Nope.
In your case, they're under your buck and headphones. You've never heard that joke?
I've never heard that one either.
Where are your Buccaneers? Under my bucking hat. Yeah. How about that?
How about that? You like that?
I do. You like that? You like that?
Atlanta came in and said something. You like that?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, there's a surprise right there. That joke.
Yeah.
That was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to move right into the surprise topic.
Oh,
Okay.
This is the topic that these two gentlemen have not heard anything about.
Right.
And this podcast is a lot of just fun and sometimes an agreement, a lot of times an agreement. But at the heart of it, I really want these two to kind of disagree, to go at it and debate and see, if one can change the other mind or if one's hate will just engulf the other person. I'll let you figure out who I'm referring to in that scenario. But our surprise topic this week is who's had the better season, Caitlin Clark or Shohei Ohtani?
There's no
And
question about this.
and hey, it might be Andy could surprise us and say, yeah, it's Ohtani easily, or Funkel could surprise us and say it's Caitlin Clark without a doubt. So I want to who wants to go first? Who's ready?
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, there
Go
it
ahead,
is.
buddy.
Andy,
well,
who's having the better season?
well.
He
let's
knows
see.
the answer, by the way.
So we've got an Otani guy here,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we've got a CC fan here, right?
I'm pro Clark too.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I'm just saying, of the two of us, I'm the bigger CC fan.
That's correct. Yep.
There's one of us representing,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I think the bigger, boy, it's tough.
You were saying?
There it is.
What's the number on the back of that one?
1. You want me to show it to you? It goes with your bucking hat.
It's tough, right? For me, it's really tough because that last game makes it really tough. I mean, an entire league is on the shoulders of Caitlin Clark. What she's done to bring viewers, to bring attention, the records that she's breaking, they aren't the baseball records, but the thing is, I mean, like I said, Ohtani not being a record or a rookie, and still, maybe being the second best offensive player in the game is this season. Look at Judge's numbers. His on-base percentage is better. His slugging is better. His home runs, he has more home runs, more RBIs, better batting average. I mean, it's aside from the steals, he's leading Ohtani in all the major hitting categories.
Aaron Judge has 54 home runs. Ohtani has 52. He's 2 behind him.
He's leading.
You're right. That is leading. But also a 50-50 club. Aaron Judge is
right.
not in that club.
You're right.
Also, Ohtani is second in the major leagues with runs scored. He almost had 180 hits. So he leads the league in runs scored. I think I saw that.
Yeah, that's fair.
With 126. So he's leading the league with a lot of different things as well. And again, this is your time. Sorry.
No. That's why it's tough for me because, I don't know. Maybe it's just me because I pay so much more attention to what Clark's doing than what Ohtani's doing, and I'm not trying to diminish it. That's just where I'm at right now, um, is I'm going to lean towards uh, you know baseball records being what they are. That's what makes it tough for me. Um, that long history of baseball and breaking a record in baseball is as impressive as it gets. But to perform under the pressure, granted it's a younger league, it doesn't have the history, and still not fold under what WNBA has been in trouble for years. If it wasn't for the NBA, it wouldn't even be around, with the NBA subsidizing the league.
But
Um,
she doesn't know anything about that. She's just coming in there and playing basketball.
right, but the expectations. It would be so much easier to fold under those expectations than it would to live up to the expectations. And so that's what makes it impressive to me, is that she had a rough start to the season. I don't know, Trevor, what was it, a 9-point game that we saw,
Yep.
that first one? Rough start. Everybody gunning for her. Even before the season started, with hero of hers, Diana Taurasi, saying that she's not gonna just walk in here and be able to do the stuff she was doing in college. And she was right at the beginning of the year, and then she started doing it better than any other guard in the league overall. So, um, yeah, for me, I could listen to an argument either way. I really could.
All right, you
All
got
right.
one. She's going for rookie of the year. He's going for MVP, and
Mhm.
not just his first MVP. He's going for his third, possibly fourth MVP. Um, and so with Caitlin coming in, I understand she's doing great and better than expected, because a lot of people are expecting rookies to do less in a league. You don't think they were gunning for a $700 million man of Otani coming over from the Angels, going to the Dodgers, and like, all right, big boy, this is the Dodgers now. You don't think there's pressure on $700 million coming to one player that was like, I don't need all that money. I'll just take 2 million a year. We'll just defer everything else and put that to the side. So he's dealing with some pressure as well. And on top of that, he's dealing with the pressure of, well, we're paying you 700 million because you're an ace pitcher, but you're going to have to recover this year, and then next year you'll start pitching. So he is talking about exceeding expectations. I mean, they were predicting 38 homers from him this year. I think that was the money line for what he did. He's at 52 right now. Nobody, I mean, if you would have put some money on him getting a 50-50 this year, you'd be making more money than Caitlin Clark right now, because I don't think her contract was that big. But you're right. She is coming in. She's trying to save the WNBA because it's been bankrupt for years. And it blew me away when you were saying that their viewership was better than the NBA. So understand that that is incredible what
Mhm.
she's doing. So I get that, but it baffles me that it took you that long to not come up with an answer and say Otani on that.
Yeah.
Blows me
Well,
away.
yeah. I mean,
All these heroes that you've talked about, Ruth,
mhm,
Cobb, uh, Judge, all these people that you're talking about have never done anything like what he's done.
mhm,
Willie Mays, Hank
mhm.
Aaron, any of them have never done what he's done. And you're still thinking that maybe a rookie playing WNBA basketball had a better year. That's crazy. That's the
But
craziest thing I think I've ever heard you say.
she's setting league records in her league as a rookie. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. And like I said, you can make. I mean, the argument can be made that Otani is not the best offensive player right now in the
It's a
majors, and he's
dumb
a, and
argument, whoever says that.
so Aaron Judge's numbers are lies.
No, whoever's saying that he is not the best offensive player this year
Yeah,
is nuts.
I got. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to
Go,
pull up something.
go ahead.
But while we're talking, um, the
I got a computer too, man. I'm
Yeah,
gonna look
well,
some
that's what I'm
stuff.
pulling up.
Trav, what do you got going up there?
Yeah, go ahead, Trev.
Oh,
Fill in
hey,
here.
yeah,
I
I'll
would
go ahead.
love to hear your opinion on this.
I'll go ahead and give some fill time. One of the things I wanted to do when I thought about this topic was one to get you guys into some spirited debate, and I love it because that's what it is.
Done.
Because we've had debates over the years, all of our group. Some of them have been stronger, such as if you're feeling froggy. But we've had we we've had some great debates over the years, and I wanted to see where you guys would go with the question. And Andy, you went stats, but also expectations. You went stats and putting a lead on their back. And Funkel, you went
Yeah.
stats and monetary expectations, which both of them easy to understand. Helping taking a league that had been losing money year after year, that was basically not basically was subsidized by the NBA to just even continue to baseball, which has been around 150 years, and seeing records that had never been made in 150 years versus and admitted by both of you guys records at 25 years. But I like how you guys both took that. I wanted to see where you guys went with it, and you guys went to some good places. I think when you look at just on the field, they're both amazing, and I love how it was an argument could be made for either one. Was Andy's answer. Funkels was obviously Otani, and not close, but there were some counterpoints made, and I think you guys are doing what I was hoping with this. You guys are um, passionately debating for Otani from you, Funkel. Andy, you're not, saying 100% locked in, Clark, but that's what you believe, but you could listen to an argument for either one. And then you're looking up stats to do it. Andy, you brought up a good point with, Judge's offensive numbers. Funkel was right there to counter with, hey, number one in the league in runs scored. And in the WNBA, you also have someone who's not overshadowing Caitlin Clark, but we didn't even mention it, and that was my fault. I was going to mention it. I had a note here to mention it. Aja Wilson, this year, the only player ever to break 1,000 points in the WNBA, and earlier this week, she broke Angel Reese's NBA record for rebounds this year. Aja Wilson broke that this week. So I know you guys are ready with your stats, with your arguments and counter arguments. Who was Andy? Andy, were you looking up something, or
I think we
I
both were.
was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Funkel? Did you find yours?
No, it was interesting that you said Angel Reese had an NBA record.
Yeah, she had set the record for most rebounds by a
She's a rookie,
player.
right?
She's a
Mhm.
rookie, yes.
But she doesn't
So
have that anymore.
and so rookies were out here already setting records that aren't even going to get MVP or
Although she doesn't have any records.
Right. Yep.
yeah,
It
but
was
she
Anymore.
just
set one.
until this
She
week.
did sit one, right?
And then she
And
got
it's
it
and
taken
it's
away.
been eclipsed, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Correct.
Okay. So multiple rookies are out here breaking records, not just Caitlin Clark.
Well, let's go ahead and look at this.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
I'll tell you one thing: you're going with averages, like the on base percentage. You're going with walks because Judge has 50 more walks than him, right?
I'm going to bring it up. All right. Let me switch over.
Oh, here we go.
This is the season. The leaders are in the darker color.
Yeah.
So there's all the places Judge leads Shohei.
Okay. So we also see he had more games, plate appearances. Otani has more, but when you put 50 plate appearances on there from base on balls, that doesn't count. That puts him over 700 plate appearances. So he got walks. So he got on base. I understand that. Um, what are we seeing here? RBIs and home runs. That's outdated. He's got 54. Judge had one tonight. Slug percentage. Yeah, I understand that he has averages that are better.
I'm just saying.
OPS,
So
slugging,
it's
on
not
base.
it's not a foregone conclusion that Shohei's the best offensive player in baseball.
I I I beg to differ, but you have the averages, and you're right. He is leading with home runs. He's leading with RBIs, not
I'm not
leading with
saying he.
hits.
That's what makes it tough for me is that he's got close competition in it. Whether he's the best or not, you got Aaron Judge right there with pretty impressive numbers as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's what makes it tough for me. I mean, I that last game Otani had is just it's hard to argue against. That's
yeah.
that's something that I had to go back and watch his at bats because I didn't watch it live. I was watching it come over, and it was
Mm,
mind boggling
right.
what was
Yeah,
being done in that game. Um, so like I said, I could be swayed either way on it. I don't know. I just have never. I guess probably because the reason I can do it is because I'm more closely following Clark's numbers and her season than I am Otani's. That's why it's easy for me to do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's great points by both you guys. Funkel, any other closing?
No, it'll just be getting personal between me. It wouldn't be anything intellectual with looking at stats or whatever.
Sounds like we'll have something to say off air.
Yeah, a little. What is it? Patreon or what is it? Patreon,
This would
Yeah.
be great for the
Patreon.
Patreon
There it
segment.
is.
Yep.
Oh my lord.
I'll get petty in the Patreon.
All right, folks. That takes us to one of our recurring subjects, our segments on the podcast. It's our Pondering Peeps draft, and this one is, as always, brought to you by Funkel over there on the West Coast, and who always comes up with some fun questions for us to think about in our draft. And this one, this was a unique one. This was a tough
Yeah,
one. And I like it. I like the challenge sometimes. Obviously, the questions you ask sometimes where boom, at least two of the three answers come to mind. Those are fun because oh, okay, yeah, this is great. But
yeah,
when you have a question that you have to just sit and just take a step back and go, hold on, let me think about this. And that's exactly what we have here. Funkel, take it away.
yeah. Okay, so there's a documentary that came out, I think this weekend. It's called Will and Harper, and it's about Will Ferrell and one of his oldest friends traveling across America. This is one of the reasons why I picked this. I saw that in Sundance, and now it's streaming, and a lot of people are talking about it. And it just made me think about we've all been on road trips with each other for multiple times, and so this is a chance for us to actually pick out somebody that we don't know, but we know of, and try to do a road trip with them for I was saying 2 weeks, um, but the caveat is
Don't air
they
this.
got to be alive, and I wanted to do one that you think would be great and one that you think would be bad, just because opposing you might think that they're a good actor or a good musician, but you've heard some of the things that they've said and they're kind of out there, and you're like, I don't know if that'd be a good idea. And now I'm stuck with them. And the example that I said was Midnight Run, because that's a great movie with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. And so they have to be together. He's taking them to collect a bounty or whatever. So the point is that you're stuck with them for 2 weeks, and you might hate them at the beginning, and then there's a bond over something like that, like a planes, trains, and automobiles kind of situation.
Those aren't
So
pillows.
those definitely are not pillows. So that's the thought process of why I did something like this, and I would love to hear you guys' opinion on who would you like to have as a co-pilot for a 2-week road trip.
All right. And with this, so a question I have is
Yeah.
we doing uh 3 rounds or are we just giving one and one?
it's safe to say that the one that you hate wouldn't be sniping somebody from a pick later. So I'm just saying, we're doing 3 rounds, and you get 2 picks. One you love, one you think you would hate.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's what I would assume.
Who's starting?
You,
Okay. Uh,
you up there sitting above us and looking down at us, pitting us against each other like a real jerk face.
um, my one that I would love, uh, because I think he would be just interesting to talk to in so many different aspects. And I mentioned him before. It's not Elvis. Well, maybe he is alive. Do
Can't
we
be.
know? Do we know for sure?
We
Okay.
know he's dead.
Is Tom Hanks. I think that would be
Oh,
just an awesome road trip to get into his mind in so many iconic roles, and just listen to him. Just
yeah,
listen to him talk about, from things like the Burbs and Big, to Philadelphia, to Saving Private Ryan, to Saving Mr. Banks, all those, to A Man Called Otto, stuff
right.
like that, and just hear what he would think of, the roles, plus the changing landscape of, I mentioned A Man Called Otto, and then he was on Greyhound, which was Apple TV, that are movies that are made for those platforms. So I'd love to hear all that information, and I think he'd have more than enough to fill up a 2-week road trip. So that's my first pick overall for a person I'd love.
Very good. Root, you're up. No, hate. Now you
Oh,
got to do a hate one.
yes.
Yeah.
Only because I think I think it would be crazy because she's gone crazy. Would be Britney Spears.
Oh, whoa! Where did that come from? That's
Uh,
amazing.
Wow. She's she's sick. What a jerk.
Yeah.
Man.
um,
Mental health being a real joke to this one.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
um, I think, um, just I don't know. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
You see her on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
You see, and don't get me wrong, I feel sorry for her. I feel, the
Right.
relationship that she's lost, all that she's been through, with the conservatorship and all that stuff. But I don't think I could do it. I just could
Why don't
not.
you console her, man? Why don't you be a listening ear,
Yeah. Yeah,
shoulder
maybe
to
that's
cry
all she
on?
needs. Maybe
Maybe
too many
that's it.
people have your attitude.
Exactly. Yeah.
God, what a hater.
Maybe
All
you
right.
guys will be friends after when you start listening to some of the problems and helping her out.
Unreal.
And I'm done.
Rude, your turn, buddy.
Oh, it's got to be Vince Vaughn.
Right out the gate. Nice pick.
Vince Vaughn for a road trip. I just think that uh, it just whether he is or not, I picture him like he is in these movies, right?
Yeah.
With the snappy dialogue, and just I think that would be interesting to say the least, and I think I'd enjoy it. As far as what I'd hate, I mean, this is a no brainer for me. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that would be literal hell on earth
Yeah.
for me. I can't stand him. He's my most loathed professional athlete of all time, and I'd consider driving off the road.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Hate that, Aaron.
So, yep. Consider.
Oh,
Consider.
okay. Yeah. I can understand that, but maybe after 2 weeks and you guys, you know,
An
stop
unlikely friendship.
an unlikely likely friendship, stopping at Bucky's, and you guys reaching for the same Chico stick, and there's just sparks fly. Could be
Wow.
something like that.
Me
Yeah.
and A-Raj, best friends.
I'll bet he loves Big Red, and
Did
that's
we
the
just
drink.
become best friends?
Yep.
You
Yeah.
go
Could
to a
be when you're
destination.
just forced into a situation like that, right, Chad? You
Yes.
never know who and what you will do when you are face to face and confronting with somebody else and realizing we got to be here for 2 weeks together. We got to at least enjoy it. And then you start seeing some of the common ground that you might have with Brittany or Aaron. So, yeah.
Brittany, I'm open to it. I'm just saying, hey, I'll listen, but I'm not gonna enjoy it.
Okay. You never know. So with that being said, I'll go with my number one. And some of the things that went into this pick. All right. I've thought about this a lot, obviously. And it's not just about like the person's accolades or anything like that. I've heard this person talking in interviews uh and some of the social medias and over the years just heard some of the things that this person has talked about and each time that I hear her talk it makes me love her that much more. And so my number one pick is the one and only Jewel. Jewel
Oh,
Thanks.
has my heart. Every time that I like listen to her in any kind of interviews or standing up for different people, it just seems like she's super genuine and thoughtful and thinking of other people, not just herself, and relating. So she seems to be like a wonderful human being. So that would be my number one pick
how about
straight out
that?
the gate. Yeah.
Respect.
That's
Love
why I was
Jewel.
telling you guys, there's no way you guys are sniping me.
Man,
I'm
you would have
ready.
hated it if I came up
Oh,
with that.
if you did that, I would never show my face. My cards would be close, and I would make something up. There's no way I would give you that satisfaction.
Wasn't even thinking that.
In
What? No.
fact, you took Vince Vaughn. No, I'm kidding. So that would be the one that I would love. So, and number my hate would probably go to the one that goes without saying. Uh, Jerry Jones would be the one that I would hate to have a car ride with
Oh
for
my
two
God, you're right. You're
weeks.
right.
2 weeks of that guy
No,
constantly trying
yeah,
to
you
be a
guys are not sharing beaver nuggets.
no way. This guy is
No.
a salesman that is just
Oh,
trying to make everything hell for me, trying to sell me some kind of snakeskin oil bull stuff. This,
mm.
this, so yeah, Jerry Jones would be my number one
Yeah,
hate
that's
partner.
strong.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Um, so okay, so that's my
Round
number
one.
one. And then we gotta flip it around, or do you want to do a different version? No, we'll keep going the snake. All right. So the old turnaround. So my number two pick. This is gonna throw you off, but Samuel Jackson, Samuel L.
Ah,
Jackson, getting him to be my co-pilot. I get to talk to, listening to the people that he's worked with. I mean, he's worked with Scorsese. He's worked with Spielberg. He's worked with um, all the new guys with the Marvel. Was it the Russo brothers? Right?
yeah.
Um, isn't that their name? Right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, and he's worked with George Lucas,
How about
um,
Tarantino?
Tarantino. Tarantino. He's worked with Spike Lee. He's worked with every director out there, and I mean, he was in Coming to America with Eddie
Is
Murphy.
is is
He's
he not
iconic.
the number one grossing actor of all time?
Number one grossing actor of all time.
I
I
believe
think
so.
11 billion is what his number is up to. But regardless, a great storyteller. I've listened to something that he's been on as well. He listens to people. He calls people out. He holds people accountable for their opinions. So, yeah, sounds like a real stand-up dude that I would really want to be sharing a car ride for 2 weeks. And I bet he's got some spots to stop too. So he's been around for a long time. So that's my co-pilot.
Well done.
Um, yeah, so I can't believe I had a brain fart with Tarantino.
Yeah, I
Man,
was
so
like
many
waiting, and
stories
I'm
with
like,
that one. Holy smokes. Um, So the hate one. All right. I w it just seems like I don't like owners because um, uh, Marge Shot's dead, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Blast from the past.
So I'll take the second closest. I'll go with Pete Rose. I've heard this guy on interviews and talking to this dude. This dude is, and maybe I just have him on my mind because I watched the Charlie Hustle. That guy just cannot. He can't just apologize. He can't just be like, "Yeah, I made a mistake and it would never happen again." They would have let him back in, but the dude never thought that he did anything wrong. He thinks that he is owed something for what he's done. He's a great baseball player, but that dude is he always gets in the way of himself. And just when you want to try to help that dude out, he says something else, and you're like, "Shut up, dude! Shut up! You are making it worse for yourself. You're never going to see the Hall of Fame while you're alive if you
But he's
keep
Charlie
doing
Hustle.
what you're doing." And Charlie Hustle is hustling on down the road because he ain't in the hall.
Man, you got
Yeah.
2 weeks to change him.
I would love to do that. I would love to be able to do that, but I would hate that conversation because he's bullheaded. He wouldn't be open to it. He wouldn't be open to it. I mean, other people have tried to make him open and tried to just say it's a simple thing of I'm sorry and I won't ever do it again. He can't say that. He would be in the Hall of Fame if he did. So for me to have that conversation when somebody's not open to anything like that, that I wouldn't go far.
Oh, you know who banned him, right?
Who?
Bart Giamatti.
Oh,
Paul
oh,
Giamatti's
yeah.
dad.
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah, that's crazy unto itself. But
Yeah. That never saw that one coming.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
most people
All
didn't.
right.
All right. See, I mean, I can love baseball and I can hate it. And so I'm not just doing that because of the for the love of the game, as some would say.
Mm,
All
strong.
right, Rude, you're up, buddy.
Oh, Keanu Reeves.
Oh, that's your co-pilot. That's the
Yep.
love one, right?
Right, it better be.
Yep. I
you
mean, by
you're gonna
all
be Bill.
accounts, by all accounts, this guy is genuine.
What a loving guy.
You know, I mean, it just he almost doesn't seem real, right?
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's a great job for that guy. Yeah, I could, I definitely think I could go ahead and stand 2 weeks on a road trip with Keanu.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that's.
Have you heard Octavia Spencer talk about him?
Mm-mm.
She was trying to. I mean, it seems like a lot of people have these stories, but she was in Beverly Hills trying to go to like an audition, or her car broke down, and nobody was helping her. She was like sitting there for a while, and Keanu, that I almost dropped something there. This guy rolls up on his motorcycle, pulls over, and helps push her car to the side, and stays with her until she's able to figure out what she needs to do, and then rides off in the sunset on his motorcycle. Keanu Reeves didn't know
How great
she
is that
wasn't
guy?
anybody. She didn't know anybody in town or anything like that. Just helping somebody out, and he no cape, no cape, and he just kept on going. Not all heroes need capes.
My co-pilot,
You're a co-pilot,
Keanu.
man.
Keanu is my co-pilot.
He's, that's a great pick. He's
Ah,
fantastic. And you get
wonderful.
to be Bill S. Prescott, right?
Yeah, that's
And
me.
Theodore Logan.
Yep.
You guys are going on an excellent adventure.
Yes. Now the other side of that coin,
Yeah, here we go.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Mm,
The entanglement. That's what your
Oh
road
my
trip is.
god! You know, I just absolutely insufferable.
Yeah, you
This
can't
woman.
stand it.
I mean, you know, I just, I've never seen somebody emasculated in the public eye as much
Damn.
as Will Smith has been.
Yeah,
Um, just this woman has brought that dude nothing but trouble and embarrassment
it's true.
over the years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There is something odd about her thought process
Yeah.
and what she thinks is okay, because man, I don't I oh,
Yeah.
that car ride would be torture.
Yeah.
That would absolutely be torture. It wouldn't last 2 weeks. Something would happen.
Yeah. An
Hmm.
entanglement. Sounds like.
No, not at all. Next.
Oh, but
Oh,
that's
just
Miss Purdy. Miss Purdy from Nutty Professor.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I just
She seems all
thinking
right.
about it.
She
Oh,
seems okay to me. Trav, what about you? You got any problems with Jada?
I can't say what I want to. Andy, I'm just
Oh my goodness.
my
You
word.
two.
um wait. Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah, we're going up to you if you don't want anything to say about Jada.
I can't. It's on the
Okay.
Patreon. So
All right.
um my now these two are going to be from uh probably not well, they aren't as well known. They're from the Disney side of things. And uh the one I would love to have a 2-week car ride with is a gentleman named Josh Damaro. And Josh Damaro is the president of Walt Disney Parks and Experiences, but he's been with Disney basically his whole career. He's a lifelong Disney guy. And I would love 2 weeks just to talk to him about all things Disney. Whatever it's the history of it, the parks, anything like that. You guys know me. I love Disney, love Disney World, love everything about it, and I would love to see and hear from somebody who's been there when things are going really, really, really good to not, and to who's rumored to be one of two that are probably on the top tier of being the next head of Disney when Bob Iger retires. And would love to talk about his plans, what he hopes to institute, and things like that. Uh, the one I would hate is a gentleman named Bob Chapek, because Bob Chapek was the basically the CEO between Ider's two runs. And just what he did, the penny pinching, the cost cutting, the screwing over the cast members that worked for Disney, during the COVID pandemic, things like that. I just would want to punch him in his bald head.
Oh
And
my gosh. There's another side of you here tonight.
I love it.
I like Andy. I don't think it would make it 2 weeks because I would just be so angry and listening to him try to come up with reason after reason or excuse after excuse of why so many things went awry during his tenure, and how he didn't think he did a bad job as he had finally as he's speaking out about his time there. Yeah, no, just get out of my car.
Mm,
Oh, you're
mm.
driving. Oh, you got the bus,
No,
huh?
driving the bus.
That's something we
Cosmo's
didn't
got the
even
caboose.
establish. Whose car? Who's driving? Who's not?
Oh, I'm driving. Get out. Get out, Bob.
Yeah, I'm driving.
I like being the passenger. Hey, you drive.
I need a nap.
Yeah, I'll take a nap. I just need the aux cord. That's all I need. Oh, this is Bluetooth. Okay, just let's connect here.
CarPlay? CarPlay now?
Yep,
Awesome.
CarPlay. Here we go.
Um, let's see.
All right, so you
Round
got the
3.
turnaround, buddy. This is last round. Pick 3.
I
Now
thought
that
of
all the Disney people are off the board, who are you gonna take?
my love. I was gonna do this just to spite. I obviously thought of Caitlin Clark or Shohei Otani. I thought about taking one of those two just in
Oh,
case it was one of your guys's, but
yeah.
no. The uh, the guy I would love to take on this. Have I done an athlete? No, I didn't. Oh yeah, this was my athlete grouping. Uh, Steve Largent. Steve Largent is
Oh,
the reason I love the Seahawks.
yeah.
Uh, as a young boy watching football, you never really saw the Seahawks where we live. You never really saw them play because they had a decent year in '84. But Steve Largent was the reason that I became a Seahawks fan. Watching the highlights, this guy could catch anything. He was the first receiver to 100 touchdowns, and his time in the sun was quickly eclipsed because on his heels was Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, obviously the greatest, probably football player, as far as accolades, not Super Bowl championships, but just how far and away above he is from other receivers. But Largent, was just that guy that made me love the Seahawks. And I think he'd be fun to talk to. Plus, he had a career in politics, which I know we're not talking about, but, he had that aspect as well. But Steve Largent would be the one I would love. And then the one I would hate, because in the past couple weeks, I listened to a podcast and I found out, verified what I thought I already knew. Darrell Bevell. Darrell Bevell was the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh,
And
boy.
on a recent podcast, Marshawn Lynch and Pete Carroll were talking, and they finally got to the play. And
Oh boy. Oh man.
everybody who
They all
knows
pointed at him.
football, Pete Carroll's the nicest guy. You always hear about it.
Yep.
And when Marshawn Lynch kind of pressed him, hey, the fans want to know where that call came from. And at first, he said, hey, I, at the end, the buck stops with me. It was, it's up to me to identify those, to call timeout, to adjust if I feel like it, and at the end of the day, it's on me. And Marshawn basically said, there you heard it, folks. He told you once and for all, it was that F word, Darrell Bevell, that called that play, and Pete just didn't have enough
Wow.
time to call a timeout and change the play. So
Dang.
it's what I always thought I knew. For some reason, Darrell Bevell just hates me. It's just painful. So Darrell Bevell, and just like Andy with A-Raj, I might have to drive off a cliff and just go. But yeah, that's it. That's my draft.
That's pretty good, buddy.
Thank you. Andy, you.
Andrew?
Me? All right. Well, in honor of the part of the country that I'm in, I would love to have as my co-pilot Miss Dolly Parton.
Oh,
Nice.
I
there
think
we go.
that would be a interesting, fun time.
Yeah.
She seems pretty genuine. Probably has a ton of stories.
Yeah, she's funny as
Over the
hell, too.
years. Yeah, I think that would be a great 2 weeks. On the other side of that, somebody I would not want to spend 2 weeks in a car with, Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal, this guy. He had an album out. Did you know this?
No.
He had an album out. And it gets better.
Oh,
And it's titled Songs from the Crystal Cave.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
But yet, it gets better.
Oh no.
It is a reggae type album
This
with the
guy
Jamaican
could
accent.
not stop appropriating any culture, can he? This guy. Oh my god.
I strongly, at the same time, discourage and encourage you to look up this album
No.
on your own time.
Oh my goodness. I knew nothing of
Because
this.
it is. I can't accurately tell you how bad this is, and then have you listen to it and go, well, my expectations were so low, it was better than I thought, because that can't happen. As bad as this thing is, I can't accurately describe it enough to where you will go anything but, my God, it's worse than I thought.
Jeez.
Yeah. So Steven Seagal, get out of my car.
Wow.
man.
That's hilarious.
Guys, subscribers on YouTube were able to do the live streams and things like that. We might just have to do a live stream of us listening to this.
I'm telling you, man, this
He
guy.
would definitely
Oh,
ask for the Bluetooth connection to put his reggae music
he
on.
he wouldn't ask. He would just like try and take it. He'd
With
like,
martial arts move.
Yeah,
yeah, unreal.
you get on the ground.
Oh my
we
god,
know
that
we know who says
ponytail.
that.
Ugh,
Yeah,
ugh.
that's
Save us
wild.
from this.
Fun will take
Okay,
it.
all right. So it's funny that you knew about Bart Giamatti because Paul Giamatti is my co-pilot.
No.
Yeah, you were so close, so close to robbing me. Paul Giamatti.
You got nervous.
I did. What? Who banned what? Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
That's
Paul
crazy.
Giamatti, so I could talk to him about kicking out Pete Rose. I want to know about baseball. I want to know about acting. And from what I hear on the different podcasts and conversations, the dude is a great dude. And I love hearing conversations with him. What a voice
Yeah.
he's got as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and you can't ask his dad.
nope, definitely can't, man. Got
No,
him. He's
next
out.
best thing.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, yo, so close. You're a little bloodhound over there sniffing out. I was like, there's no chance you within a whisker. Whoa. Oh, I'll make up for it. Uh-oh.
Oh, Carlos. Oh, oh.
So yeah, Paul Giamatti was my co-pilot,
Well
and
done.
the hate one. And well, let me just say that I forgot to bring up one of the reasons that I'm picking the people that I am. Not that they would have like some kind of paparazzi when people would get out, but it seems like if I was to pick like a Tom Brady or something like that that really stuck out, and
Yeah.
um, that's what I was trying to avoid on a road trip like this. I don't want a lot of eyes on it. I want us to just be able to keep it cool, keep it casual. So another reason why I didn't pick Salma Hayek is because of something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, which
Yep.
she could always be my co-pilot, but in this game,
Yeah, she was going to be on my list.
I'm sure she was on all of our lists, but different episode for different show. So the hate one, like I said, when it comes to owners, for some reason they just rub me the wrong way, and this is a little close home to you guys because it's Jerry Reinsdorf. We can't stand that guy. He was the owner of the Bulls, owner of the White Sox, and he seemed to just piss off everybody that worked with him. And never really had any people stand up and vouch for him as a good person. And the White Sox are currently one of the worst teams in baseball, and he hasn't lifted a finger to do anything about it. So it's sad to see something like that because they do have devoted fans on the south side of Chicago that are just thirsty for a team, but
Yeah.
they
By
ain't getting it with that guy.
last game, I think they had 14 devoted fans.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
He's pissed them all off.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but yeah, I've never heard a good thing about that guy. And yeah,
Now you're
so
stuck in a car
I'm stuck in the
with him for 2
car.
weeks.
I got some questions, man. Why the hell would you trade Jay Buhner?
Oh my God, that episode was on a few weeks back. Well,
Yeah, was it?
our scouts said that.
Well, our scouts tell us, what was it Steve Phillips or something like
Yeah, who
that?
was it? Yeah.
He's a broadcaster for ESPN
Yeah.
with the MLB. Yeah.
Yep. Larry David is
David
George
is
Steinbrenner.
So good. But yeah, those are the guys that I would hate to be trapped in a car with for 2 weeks. But they got deep pockets, so I could get as much vegan jerky as I can.
Who are three people that have never been in my kitchen?
Never been in my kitchen. Thank you, Clavin.
This is Frank Costanza. George is dead. Steinbrenner's here. Call me back.
No. Uh,
Oh, Lord.
and
Uh,
that was
always,
fun. Good picks,
always a fun
guys.
topic. Always a fun topic. We had
Yeah,
some unique choices, and that's what we want from these. Are some
yeah,
different, all over the place choices.
yeah.
And speaking of choices and all over the place and time, it's time for your
Mm.
playlist sucks. You can borrow ours. Another of our every show segments where we pick a song that we would like to add to our ongoing playlist. Now, these playlists can be found on Spotify and they can be found on Apple Music. So follow along with them. Let us know in the comments who you like, whose pitch you're loving, whose pitch you're doing what, and just things you may want to see. We probably won't use them, but it'll be fun to know. Uh, Funkle, as
Yeah.
always, you choose it, bud. Where are we starting?
We're going with Rude. You started the
All right.
draft. Rude, you're first up on the playlist, buddy.
All right. A couple episodes ago, we were talking about this group,
Kevin.
and and it got me thinking here recently, and about songs that I can listen to over and over again, and this is one of them. Um, it's by Oasis. It's called "Don't Look Back in Anger,"
Slip
and
inside the eye of your mind.
that
Yeah.
song is it's near perfect construction of a song.
Yeah.
Um, the I love everything from the lyrics to the vocal delivery on it, to the guitar work on it is fantastic. It's so subtle, but it's so good. The walks that are done through it, that lead into things, on a great pair of headphones.
Mm,
This song is just phenomenal. Listening to all these little things in there, and
okay.
it's an absolute heartbreaking song
Yeah.
too. It just is emotionally charged, and I'm surprised about it because you won't find two bigger douchebags than the Gallagher brothers.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so yeah, don't look back in anger. Uh, timeless song for me. I think somewhere probably what 96,
Yeah. Around
yeah,
that era.
96,
Yep.
97.
Mid
So
90s.
yeah, yeah, that's mine.
Good one. Yeah. And relevant with
Yeah,
them getting back together.
yep.
Yeah.
See him early.
See, get on the front nine.
Yep. Yeah, you'll want to get in there pretty quick. These guys hate each other.
They're doing their own version of our road trip pick.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, Trav, you're up, buddy.
Andy, that was man.
Your song? Was it
What
yours?
joy would he have if that was it?
You you went back to 96, right?
Yeah.
That's
So 96 minus what is 1957?
Yeah, you got 30 years.
last week we went to 1954. This
Uh-oh.
week
What a good year. Let's go again.
we're jumping in the time machine. We're moving ahead. That's right.
Uh-oh.
We're heading
59?
all the way to 1961.
Oh,
Oh, your decade.
man. Jesus.
Careful,
Sorry.
careful. Uh, this song, again, most of my songs come from dad, mom or dad, and
Right.
just memories I have of listening to the songs with them and talking about them, and just playing them when I'm driving. Now with dad, if we ever go wherever, but this one he introduced me to, and there's always you know parts of a song that stick with you. And in this song, there's a vocal part that sticks with me and an instrumental part that sticks with me. And the song is Runaway by Del Shannon. And
Oh,
I absolutely one of my favorite songs ever. And his why I won't even attempt to do it because we want to keep our fans. Um, and then the
Could be fun.
instrumental, the organist that's on there. Uh, the song is just it's just so sad, but the beat is so catching. It's just one of those that you can stop listen to, which is what we're doing for you. If you don't know it, uh, I don't know how, but look it up. Do yourself a favor, look it up. One of the things when I was looking up this song, and Andy, you may know, Funkel, you may know, um, he re-recorded this in 1967, but his session musicians on that album that were part of this, Nicky Hopkins, um, a man named John Paul Jones was also a session musician on this,
Really?
and also a
Wow.
Jimmy Page was a session musician.
I know
Wow.
that name.
Yes, and then it was re-recorded again in
You got half
1986.
of Led Zeppelin on that session.
Pretty impressive.
Might
Yeah.
be kind of good. It was recorded in 1986 again as the theme song for a NBC series called Crime Story with Dennis Farina. The lyrics were
Mhm.
changed, but again, I went out and I bought that set. I saw it at a used uh, DVD, CD, movie store, and they had both series, both seasons of Crime Story. I bought that, and Dad and I watched the whole thing. So again, just good memories. But Del Shannon, Runaway is mine.
Well,
Oh,
that's a great song. I can't dispute that
Yep.
at all. So not going to
Yep.
show
A
any hate.
classic.
It is a classic. I also have a classic from the
1960?
67 year,
Whoa. Whoa.
67, but
Uh-oh.
that was the original. I'm talking about the cover that
Here we
was
go.
done.
Here's the other half. Okay.
I was so excited. Funkel, I was
I
ready.
know. I'm sorry. I
Get
had
in my
to
pilot
pull it
seat.
back.
Get in my
Sorry.
pilot.
Set it up again. Set it up again.
I cheated. Cheated.
So the song, I mean, this to me is like the epitome of a fall song. It's something that would go on even on a crisp afternoon, but also late night by a fireplace. And that is Crimson and Clover. It was done by was it Tommy James and the
Shondells.
Shondells.
Shondells? Yeah,
Yep.
the Shireless.
All right. Popular group.
Yeah,
They got around.
they get around like a record. Ooh, ooh. The cover is by a band called the Shacks, and that's with a CKS, not the basketball player. And it was done for a movie in 2020, but it's recently came out in like a lost tracks album for this year. And they're a band that have a good throwback sound, and I don't know about you guys, but I love me some like whisper singing. And when it's like, she's like, Crimson and Clover, almost that,
Mhm.
what is
Yep.
it that they do with the microphone? Like the
Yes,
ASMR?
MR.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like she's doing that with Crimson and Clover, and it's just delightful. So I highly recommend that, and it's a great time to be listening to Crimson and Clover, and with a younger, more modern take on it, but also with a classic song that hopefully, if anybody's new to that song, will listen to the original as well and have an appreciation for it. So that's why I picked
Oh,
that one.
well
It's a good
done.
one.
When's that from?
20 it's an album that came out this year, 2024.
Okay. Okay.
But it was on the original soundtrack for a movie called Clover in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right.
yeah. So that's my
So we
pick.
got a little bit of everything around here tonight.
We
Perfect.
mixed it up, man.
We
This is one shaken bucket of paint. We're all mixed up, boys.
Okay.
we I was so excited, Funkel, to welcome you to a time, a long lost time, and then
Right.
just
I got back in the DeLorean and went right
Yep.
back to the future.
21 gigawatts.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Honked the horn and gave you the finger as
Oh,
he
yeah.
went back.
Sure did.
I love
I'll leave you a license plate though. Out of
spinning
Yep.
time.
fire
Yep.
all the time. I love the segment. It's always fun. It's always fun to get different music out there, and obviously many times from different eras. But it's just fun.
Yeah.
That's the end of this episode, folks. Again, this is episode 15. We've been doing
Yeah.
this on a regularly routine schedule, which at different time zones is kind of tough sometimes, but it's always fun to be here talking with you guys, having some fun. So it's time for final thoughts. My final thoughts of this one are: why didn't you run the ball, Daryl Bevel? Why? That's all I got. Andy, your final thoughts, sir.
I would like to shove Steven Seagal into the shopping cart as I'm putting it away.
As you return
Fair enough. Uncle, fire it home.
I'm gonna go with some love. So when you guys are out there exercising at night, wear something reflective or white so people can see you. And
Oh.
always try to make eye contact with drivers.
Oh, okay.
All
Have a
right.
close
That's about it.
call?
I have a close call every day. Every day, people are not paying attention in
I
their
don't-
cars
Wow.
I
when
don't
you're
like
out
that at
there.
all.
So yeah, I just don't trust any cars out there, even when they're like waving you on. They have a phone and then they start to go. It's just one of those things. I try to make myself as subtle but as seen as possible. So
Gotcha.
I
All
got a
right. Good
new
advice.
I got
Yeah.
a reflective bucket hat. So
Next episode.
next episode I could wear it, and it's
Yes.
crazy because they're calling it like the invisible hat, because when you take anybody tries to do any of these fans that come up to me and try to take a picture with
Yes.
a flash on it,
It blinds the camera.
yeah, my face is not seen, but the big flash is right here, so my face, I mean, I go, you can't see my face. I'm not gonna say what I
There
was
we
gonna
go.
say.
All right.
That
guys.
place right there.
Can't see it. Yeah.
Well,
But you
we
can
almost
see the
made it.
hat.
We almost made it. Guys,
close.
thank you as always for tuning in. You can find us on Facebook, on
These
Instagram.
bleeds.
Facebook page is being redone. The subscribe button will be somewhere in the corner where Funkle is. It'll be
Come
in that.
on to the sun.
Yep.
Make sure to click it. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell notification.
Tell
Again,
your friends.
yes, tell them all.
Ding, ding.